Okay, overnight the crypto market made a devastating move for the worse. Now, from my perspective, this is a massive opportunity, and I just decided to surely fill my bags, but from an opposite angle. As it currently stands, the situation is quite dire. For example, let's start with, I guess, 5 hours ago. Major news from Iran. Iran's parliament officially approves closing the Strait of Hormuz for the first time since 1972. If approved by Iran's top security body, shipments of 20 plus million barrels of oil per day will be impacted. What's next? Let us explain. Well, it's kind of interesting. My quant said buy as much oil as you can like 2 weeks ago or something like that, which turned out to be a really good idea. But it's quite interesting how different these effects have been throughout the day. For example, New York Post posted a few hours ago saying Iran orders closure of Strait of Hormuz, putting 1/5 of the world's oil supply at risk. But then at the same time, we had other sources stating that it's actually not even approved just quite yet, just quote unquote put out there. At the same time, we've got Trump shouting that the situation was an extremely awesome success tonight. And of course, at the exact same time as well, we've had billions of dollars worth of crypto liquidated because, well, if we take a little bit of a look, let me just quickly update this. It's about $1 billion worth of liquidations throughout the day, with it mostly being Ethereum, yet again 366 million, and Bitcoin 314. Now, if you also want to trade crypto, a couple of people were making massive money on their shorts here, which again, I'm not personally the biggest fan of, but hey, to each their own. You can check out the links down below to Payonix for the bots or 𝗬𝗂𝗪𝗏 for just trading. You might need a VPN in some countries, but hey. And as it currently stands for my trades, we bought another $100,000 worth of XRP to make sure this trade is about 400K worth. But as it currently stands, like I told y'all before, I'm basically waiting to layer in my buys as the price goes below 192. Theoretically speaking, I could have most likely scooped up a little bit here at 192, but this was when I was not awake just quite yet. And in times like this, and I always say in times of war, you always got to be a bit more careful in layering your buys because you do not know what's going to be announced tomorrow that could completely nuke your bags. And in a normal scenario, if the price moved down like this, you just more aggressively buy. And again, if we take a look at XRP's price over the past few months, still all the way since like freaking November, since the come up, right? Since XRP came up, if you had bought consistently at $2, you would have made a lot of profit. There's only one scenario where the price went to 165 and you would have hated your life for a bit, right? But we are basically preparing ourselves for a worst case scenario of like $1.40, for example. Some people are shouting 120, but I'm not thinking it's going to go that far down. But we're preparing ourselves for the worst of the price moving downwards a lot, right? Still like maybe 20% or so from here, but also aggressively buying as it moves. Right now, I want to put so much more in, but I also got to be careful to consider escalations. I mean, Iran just said Parliament says nuclear activities won't be halted. US would allow Iran to operate nuclear power plants but not enrich its own fuel. Parliament has not approved closing the Strait of Hormuz, but if we go quickly to the most recent announcements, let's just quickly see. The 𝗕𝗂𝘀𝗀 letter says the bull case of this weekend's event, while the Israel-Iran war has undeniably escalated with US involvement, it's not all bad news. In fact, there may be a situation where this weekend's events lead to a faster conclusion to this conflict. The situation would be one where all sides can claim a win, and here's how that may look. So, the US strikes on Iran were the most unexpected events of this war. If anything, it was a way for the US to appear strong after months of threatening rhetoric from Trump to Iran. On the flip side, it allows Israel to say they successfully destroyed Iran's nuclear capabilities. But what about Iran? Well, between threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz, strikes on Israel, and potential retaliation against the US, Iran can maintain an image of power. Then, as Israel and the US believe Iran's nuclear capabilities have been contained, they will come back to the table for a deal. At this point, a deal becomes even more likely as all parties can claim a win. It does indeed make a little bit of sense. Israel will say they destroyed Iran's nuclear capabilities, the US will say the same, and Iran will say they successfully repelled Israel and the US. I don't know exactly about this last part, but I guess if a deal comes from the US and Israel's side, then yeah, it could indeed make some sense as they can threaten something quite significantly. And on top of that, on top of it all off, Russia and China, which by the way are seen now as the major deal closers, are becoming mediators in this conflict despite other unrelated tensions, bridging relations with the US as well. While all of the headlines are negative right now, and this is a key, there is still a highly viable path to a short-lived conflict. We are optimistic. So as it currently stands as well, from my side, right? People are saying that this guy is stupid. A lot of people are saying, no, get a geopolitical expert. I'm not going to say that this can be a positive result for everybody. I am just saying that most of the articles are extremely negative right now, but they don't necessarily have to be. But as of this point, if you're aggressively buying and not just normally buying, loading up on your coins. But again, I would highly recommend, and this is not financial advice, to layer in from the top down, as I said in my previous video, because you can go a bit deep right now, but it's like flipping a coin a little bit, right? It's a little bit of gambling because from a certain angle, you might be down significantly over the next few days if another strike happens or if some retaliatory action comes in. Now, again, I am pretty aggressively buying. I just bought $100,000 this morning, and I will aggressively buy. I'm still thinking even now to just load up all the way towards the $1 million bag because it's only $400,000 worth of an XRP long we've got open. But yeah, I guess we still have a couple $100,000. We could still deploy another $3 million into the position. And again, why? We're just being careful. We're just being a bit careful based on the fact that this is a very unique situation. And an escalation can literally nuke our bags by 20, 30, 40%. And even though I don't really mind that too much, on the longer term, on the short term, it kind of sucks, right? Especially because I've got my bags of XRP filled as well. And so theoretically speaking, what I should be doing is hedging a bit more, perhaps by actually shorting Ethereum. But as you might have seen, I actually opened an Ethereum long here as well. I see now that I only did 3x. That was not the plan, but it is what it is. I actually think longing hype as well, even though, it's not necessarily the best of the best, but I think longing hype, longing ETH at a time like this is definitely not too crazy just to have them basically, right? So I've opened another $10,000 hype position here as well. Hype, ETH, so $10,000 worth of hype, $10,000 worth of ETH, and $100,000 worth of XRP. We just opened throughout the night, and we'll see how things go from here. Just to be a bit careful, just $120,000 this day, but let's see how things continue over the next few, because we might have to really significantly increase these, but we also don't want to. We're speculating on multiple fronts now, right? We're speculating on all our altcoin fronts and on the XRP front, and I like to kind of play on just one. But many altcoins going down to their recent lows of a few months ago when Bitcoin was at what? 90-some thousand. Like right now, no, right? We're playing too strange of a game. Ethereum is down 9%. This is a really good opportunity to scoop up, but a lot of people are also speculating that right now Ethereum is just barding it back down. Barding means, you go up quite nicely, you trade that for a little bit, and they come right back down to the start. Because the way that Ethereum is moving, we had a nice move towards 2,800 just now, and we're right back to 24. It feels like. All the price action from December, we have yet to see any of the goodness, any of the good stuff, right? We had our little move towards, where was it now? Here. Our little move towards 2,800, and we're right back down to 21, right? So this is right here, Bart Simpson's head with all the prickles or whatever you call them on top of his head. If we go more down, we are back to the entry of about 1,745. And remember, this is actually when I open my main bots as well. Right, we opened them at the day it went plus 20%, which was from 1,700-ish to 2,100. I really wonder how this is going to look over the next couple of days, because apparently most of the people that are getting wrecked on ETH. But yeah, Trump is playing the game right. I mean, he's going full patriot. It's interesting to see, man. Oh, damn, he just posted this. But anyway, I'm buying. I don't care what you do. This is just my story of what exactly I'm doing. But I'll keep my eyes open for further conflict, because even though you do expect things to resolve quite quickly, it would seem quite logical. We're also no geopolitical expert. And right now, British Airways supposedly closed their flights towards Qatar and Dubai, as well as the canal, right, that all the oil is flowing through. It's getting some threats. I do wonder what's going to happen, right? A lot of my friends have closed all their longs, and they're actually just waiting this out in case some really heavy retaliatory action comes in. I'm just warning y'all, if you're a bit too over leveraged, maybe tune the leverage down a little bit, and that's by adding some more margin, to keep sure your positions are safe in case a massive flash crash happens based on some news announcements just now. Again, keep yourself in a bit of a healthy position, and let's just sit at this one out, because it's an interesting one. Let's just say that. All right. it's an interesting one. Yeah, that's about it for this little crypto update. I'm still stacking though. I will never sell my crypto. Screw every single one of you who says, no, it's better to sell, blah, blah, blah. Screw you. I'm holding through. I don't care, all right? At the end of the day, all these should be positive for altcoins, not negative, but we're not that mature just quite yet. It's all a game of patience, and I'm playing it from the right side.